Woobin looked at her with a smile and asked if she wasn't happy that he made it. Yuna just looked at him. Minsu, sensing the tension, stood up and excused herself. As soon as she left, Yuna moved closer and told Woobin not to ever leave her again. She said she was terrified at the thought of not seeing him again or having silly fights and arguments with him. Woobin pulled her to his bedside and made her sit down next to him. Yuna said the doctors wouldn't be happy to see her on his bed. Woobin looked into her eyes and said he would tell them he missed his woman and no one could deny him that closeness. Yuna blushed. She touched his face and told him he looked pale and should get well soon. She added that when he got out, she would cook for him and help him gain back the weight he had lost. Woobin pulled her closer and held her in his arms. He told her he didn't need food, that having her by his side was enough for him to regain his strength. Looking at her, he said he would never leave her again or scare her like that, as long as she promised to stay by his side too. Yuna smiled and said she would promise if he stopped flirting with other girls and promising them dinner. She said she wanted to be the only one he took out to dinner. Woobin thought she looked cute when she was jealous. He pulled her closer and said she would be the only one he took out and flirted with. Yuna smiled and looked back at him. She stayed in his arms, both of them happy to finally have each other again. That evening, Minsu and Sonjin arrived home together, since Sonjin had been released from the hospital. As they walked into the house, his butler ran to him, greeting him with a smile. He expressed how happy he was to see Sonjin back and mentioned that he had been worried about him, praying for him day and night. Sonjin thanked him for the kind gesture and assured him that it had only been a minor surgery and nothing serious was going to happen. The butler said he was relieved to hear that and went on to inform him that he would ask the chef to prepare his favorite meal. He said this as he headed to the kitchen. Sonjin made his way to his bedroom where Minsu had walked ahead. As he entered, Minsu approached him and handed him a small gift bag. Sonjin looked at her, wondering what it was for. Minsu had prepared the gift to celebrate his return home and the successful surgery. Sonjin remarked that she really knew how to spoil him. He opened the gift bag and pulled out a pair of baby shoes. He looked at them, confused for a moment, then turned to Minsu, questioning what the shoes were for. Before Minsu could answer, Sonjin realized the meaning behind the gift. He looked at her and asked if it meant she was pregnant. Minsu nodded with a smile. Overwhelmed with emotion and happiness, Sonjin pulled her into his arms and hugged her tightly. He asked if he was really going to be a father, and Minsu confirmed that he was, just like he had always wanted. Sonjin touched her belly and looked at it with a smile before turning back to Minsu, asking what she thought the gender might be. Minsu told him she didn't know and preferred to find out once the baby was born. Sonjin agreed with her. He pulled her even closer, already making plans for the baby. He talked about decorating a baby room and even suggested buying a new house so they could build a playground. Minsu gently took his hands and reminded him that it was still early in the pregnancy and they could plan all that when the time came. Sonjin smiled, saying he was just super excited. He looked at her and thanked her for the fact that she was going to be the mother of their child. Minsu smiled back and told him she should be thanking him too, as it had been a team effort, and they had made the baby together. Sonjin pulled her even closer and gazed into her eyes. He teased her about putting their teamwork into action again before her pregnancy started to show. Minsu blushed and reminded him that he had just gotten out of the hospital and needed to focus on healing. He replied that only his wife's body could truly heal him. Minsu blushed again and told him she had to go freshen up, and that he should focus on his recovery first. She said this as she walked away. Sonjin stood there with a smile, happy about the good news, and grateful that everything was finally falling into place. Woobin had just come out of his coma, and now Minsu was pregnant with their first child.